What's up guys, this is Sensei. In today's video, I'm going to be doing something a little different. Instead of going over some tips and tricks for Colt and Takedown, since Takedown is gone from the game, I'm going to be going over some of the issues that were in Takedown, how to fix them, as well as some other possible things Supercell can add to Takedown so that if they decide to ever add it in the game, it can be a lot more fun experience for people and it will be a more fun game mode. So let's get into it. Also, just a quick note, the preferred star power is Colt's first star power. However, you're going to be seeing me using Colt's second star power in these replays only because at the time of me pushing Colt, I did not have his first star power yet. So I just want you to keep that in mind as you watch these replays. Anyway, let's get into the issues of Takedown. Okay, let's get into the problems with Takedown. So for our first problem, we have players killing each other when they should be killing the boss. So, I don't mind if people kill each other when the boss's shield is on, but when the boss's shield is off, you still sometimes have players who will attack other players instead of attacking the boss, and that can get super annoying when you're just, trying to play the game mode as it's supposed to be played doing damage to the boss, and all of a sudden this guy, whether sometimes it be a Piper or a Mortis or a Brock or whatever, and they just, or a B, especially B, they're so annoying. And they just attack you instead of attacking the boss. And sometimes the boss is like right there, and they still attack you instead of attacking the boss. Sometimes it just gets ridiculous. Like these guys will like cheat, and some guys will hunt you down across the whole map while the boss's shield is off, and they're missing like so much damage that they could be doing to the boss. Instead, they're trying to do that to you. And yeah, I definitely agree. This is a problem with Takedown that needs to be fixed. And so let's move on to our next problem. Okay, for our next problem, we have map sizes being too big. And I definitely agree with this. I don't see why the map sizes need to be as big as they are, since the only goal is to fight one boss, right? Like, why do we have all this space around? I don't really know why that's needed. And it can be pretty annoying. Like, if you die and respawn, you could respawn, like, super far away from the boss. And by the time you travel all the distance, you're wasting valuable time just getting to the boss. And by the time you get there, the shield's probably going to be on. And at the very least, you're going to miss out on so much damage. In a highly competitive match, you're probably going to already lose from all that damage you missed out on. So I definitely agree that this is a big problem in Takedown. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, now this third problem is not really a problem that I personally agree with. I actually disagree with it, but it is a problem that I hear a lot of people saying, and that is that the meta of Takedown isn't diverse enough, that it's pretty stale. You hear a lot of people saying, "Oh, the only brawler to push in Takedown is Colt, right? He's the only brawler you can push." I've seen YouTubers saying that, "Oh, only you can," when they're complaining about Takedown, like the only brawler that's good is Colt, right? That's just simply not true. I mean, if you actually play Takedown competitively, you can see for yourself that Colt is not the only brawler you can play in Takedown. On my own very channel, I have 3 other brawlers that I pushed to 1K in Takedown, and I have seen a lot of other brawlers than the brawlers that I pushed. There's like a lot more brawlers that I haven't even gotten the opportunity to push to 1K that people have pushed to even rank 35, such as Ems and Rico, etc. So I think this problem is just people being misinformed, but it is a problem that I hear people. So I thought I'd throw it in this video, but I just want to let you know that it's not really a valid problem. So anyway, let's move on to the final problem. And for the last problem that I've heard people say is that just Takedown is not a very fun mode, and I can, I disagree. I actually, an unpopular opinion, but I actually enjoy Takedown. I personally just love dishing out damage, which is why, I love seeing how much damage I can do to the boss. But I totally understand that just shooting one thing for like a minute to 2 minutes isn't a very fun thing for some people, and I totally get that. So that is the final problem. Now let's move on to the solutions to these problems. Okay, now let's get into some of the solutions that I have to make Takedown a lot more fun in game mode. For our first solution, we have disabling player killing while the boss's shield is off. Which means that while the boss's shield is off and it's time to attack the boss, you are not allowed to damage any other players. And as soon as the boss shield comes on, then you're allowed to attack and kill other players. This way, when you're supposed to be attacking the boss, you don't have to worry about some annoying guy coming over and killing you while you're trying to attack the boss. Now, everyone has a clear-cut goal: attack the boss during this interval of time, and then when the boss's shield goes off, then you can attack other players and collect your power cubes and, you know, change the outcome of the game that way. But while the shield is off, it's time to attack the boss. And not only does this prevent the problem of people killing you, but it also allows spawners, allows them to be a lot more viable options in Takedown, because, as you know, turrets tend to get taken out very quickly, and so now your turrets are not going to get taken out as quickly since other players can't take them out, and it's going to enable you to do a lot more damage with them, so it also increases the meta, even though that wasn't really an issue I had in the first place. Now let's move on to the second solution I have. Okay, for the second solution I have is just to make the map smaller. And this is very simple. You make the map smaller, it allows you to get to the boss faster, and makes the game a lot less traveling, and it just makes it more fun. It allows you to get to do a lot more damage, and even if you die, you don't have as much of a handicap as you would before it got removed. And it also helps diversity, helps 8-bit, right? The super slow brawler. It helps him be more viable because, if 8-bit can stay by the boss the whole time, he has a good chance of winning. But if he dies, yeah, he's pretty much screwed. So, yeah. All right, for our next one, this also helps make the spawn locations even, especially at the beginning of the game. Like, you have spawn locations like that are close to the middle near the boss, and then you have some which are all the way in the far back, right? And like, that's just not fair. Like, if you get a spawn location super close to the boss, you get a super early advantage, whereas if you spawn way in the back, you're already at a big disadvantage. So making it even around the map, not only does it help that, but also when you respawn, you have a better chance of getting closer to the boss. Like, you don't have to worry about being spawned in like the top right corner while the boss is in the top left. If the locations are even, the distance is going to be easy. It's not going to be as big as it was before. And another solution to deal with that is whenever you die, you respawn at the spawn location closest to the boss. That way, as soon as you die, you can just get back in action. And you might be saying, well, can't people just abuse that to get close to the boss if they're super far? Well, technically they can. Just remember also that whenever you die, you drop all your power cubes. So people aren't going to just want to give away their power cubes that easily. So now let's move on to the next solution. Okay, for this next solution, I have instead of having power cubes just lay around, change them into power cube boxes. That way you won't have an inflation of power cubes. That's also a problem I didn't really mention because I don't really hear people complaining about it. But it is a problem. Like, sometimes you have like one guy with like 20 power cubes, and I just don't think that should exist. I think that you should work more harder to get the power cubes you have, and you shouldn't just be able to rack up like a lot of power cubes and just like one-shot everyone. I don't think that's very fun. So by turning all the power cubes into power boxes, it's going to be a lot harder to get power cubes than just like to pick them up. And also another thing they could do is like reduce the spawn rates or reduce the locations that they can spawn in. Just things to just like limit how much power cubes are on the map, just to make things a bit more fair for everyone. Now let's move on to the next solution. Okay, for this next solution, I have increased the boss's health and increased the shield time. Takedown matches, especially at high level trophies, are extremely fast. We're talking like a minute, like under 2 minutes. Like, all the matches that I just showed you were probably like under a minute and a half. Like, they go down quick. And that cannot really be exciting, right? Like, you shoot the boss, there might be one shield iteration and that's it. By increasing the boss's health, not only do you increase the length of the matches, but it makes it more competitive because you allow more time for the shield to appear, and you also make it so that players can catch up if they've got a deficit. They have more opportunities to do so, because right now you have like 0. Like, if you fall behind, you're done. And by increasing the shield time, you give players a more secondary objective. If we compare Takedown to Heist, like the solo version of Heist, the goal is to attack the safe, but there's also protecting your own safe as well as maintaining control of the map. Whereas Takedown, there's only really one objective, which is attack the boss. By increasing the shield time, you add a secondary objective, which is stay alive and get as much power cubes as you can. Which I think is what they were going for when they added the shield, but the shield, I think that the duration is just too little for it to really make an impact. So by increasing the shield time, combined with my other solution of no player killing while the shield is off, I think that makes that part of Takedown will make that part of the aspect of Takedown a lot more attractive and more fun for players. And now let's move on to my final solution. Okay, for my final solution, I have adding more boss attacks. And this will just help make the game, spice up the game a bit more and make it more fun. Right now, we only have, if you get too close to the boss will like punch you. And then we have like 2 special attacks. So we have like 1 basic attack, 2 special attacks. And that's when the boss like bull rushes. And then we have, different, and then the other special attack differs depending on the map. Sometimes it's lasers, sometimes it's a lightning attack, and sometimes it's rockets. I think, maybe adding a 3rd attack, such as maybe the boss spawns a bunch of, little robos, like the sniper bots and whatnot, maybe spawning some of those, or even just adding more secondary attacks, along with, the lasers, the lightning, adding something else. I don't know, maybe like, maybe the boss has another ranged attack, right? Like, if you take a look at boss fight, right, the rockets that he shoot goes a far distance, maybe something like that. So anyway, that will do it for all my solutions in the Takedown. For Takedown, I believe that if Supercell implements even some of these solutions, it will just go a long way into making Takedown a lot more fun game mode, and hopefully when it can get added back into the game so I can push more brawlers to show to you guys. So anyway, that'll do it for this video. Thanks for watching. I got a 1K primo and showdown video coming up, so stay tuned for that, and peace.